Hey, this is Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
You can put it on the board! Yes!
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the MTV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA prime Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all, those gigantic and massive cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best I've ever had, probably be the best you ever have as well. Hell, check out those massive half-pound USDA prime Wagyu burgers as well. Mercy, are they good. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call, find out what's for dinner at 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100 for UppercutChops.com. Yes! Boy, that's good stuff. All right, a big welcome to everybody listening in on all of our network affiliates from coast to coast, whether it's CBS, NBC, Fox, ABC, you name it. Chances are we're over there as well. A big hello to our independents from coast to coast as well. Everybody watching on television, whether it's Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, or WOW Cable Television affiliates in select markets, we appreciate your tuning in, as well as on Hotel TV and Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook, folks. Make sure you check out Chicago Food Favorites, a fun group on Facebook, and of course, a shameless plug from the administrator. All right. A lot of people talk about, well, we can learn this and that real easy and blah, blah, blah. Listen, folks, if you think you can learn things super easy, whatever you're doing, you're in the wrong business. Because, look, if it was so easy to learn something, don't you think everybody would be doing it? Just being real, right? Everybody would be doing it. That's how I see it. And people say, well, let's go into the National Football League, for example. Well, it's rather easy for Joe to go take more money over from Team X to Team Y or some crap like that. Well, Joe just has to learn a couple of plays or whatever, and everything else kind of surrounds it and so forth. Well, let me tell you something, folks. It is not as easy as you think. Yes, these guys get paid truckloads of money, but they have a ton of responsibility too. Think about this. Learning a playbook, for example. I mean, how do you memorize all those plays? Do you think it's, just a couple of pages, maybe something like that? No, it's not. Think about this. The 2000 Cleveland Browns, just randomly taking the 2000 Cleveland Browns. And mind you, this is not one of the better teams, and of course, in years. But their playbook has 554 pages. That's right, 554 pages, in case you're keeping score. I mean, look, football players have to be not only athletic, but they also have to be smart. And this is one of the reasons these kids really need to pay attention in school. And when you go to a school that doesn't really push the academic side or, anything related to it, you ask yourself, well, wait a minute. Why are they taking basket weaving 101 at University X? Now, I'm not going to pick on any schools here because I normally do. And I normally pick on Ohio State just because I can. But look, not to take anything away from the players over there and the coaches. I mean, look, the players have to know. They really do. I normally pick on them at Notre Dame. Just because I can, again. But I guess ultimately, look, if you think the players are dumb, you better think again. I would say that some may have a higher IQ than others, and I think that's a very fair statement. But look, they all have to go through rigorous training, athletic training, especially if you're playing in Division I football, never mind the National Football League. But remember, those universities are doing what? They're preparing those young minnows for manhood. And that was a great line from the movie Ascent of a Woman with Al Pacino. Oh, what a great line that is. And it's very true, because as you look at the players and when they're developing in high school, you say, all right, well, they've gotten accustomed to learning maybe 20, 30, 50, or maybe even 100 pages. I guess it just depends on if you're down in Texas, which is the high school football capital of America. Hell, maybe it's even 300 or 400 pages. I don't know. But those high school games are like college games. I mean, they're a big deal, drawing 30, 40, 50,000 people at these games for Friday Night Lights. But my point is, if you think it's easy, you better guess again. I mean, look, just having a decent memory. Look, I have a pretty good memory. I don't think I can remember 554 pages worth of this. And I mean, look, think about it. It's 27 megs or so of content. I mean, that is a lot. Look, whether it's one great team like the 91 Buffalo Bills K-gun offense, the 88 or 1990 Cincinnati Bengals, for all you Bengals fans out there. How about the 94 Cowboys and all the other playbooks? Listen, folks, it is one gigantic, ginormous mess. And so in case you think that I'm BSing you here, I can't say the real words, I pulled up for all you Bengals fans out there. Of course, I know you're going to boo at this one, so I'll do it for you. This is, I'm looking at the playbook for the for the Cincinnati Bengals. No, for the San Francisco 49ers when they won the Super Bowl that year against the Cincinnati Bengals. I believe that was the 1982 world champion San Francisco 49ers. Mind you, 336 pages. And what's interesting is it even talks about the huddle procedure. I'm looking at a diagram right now where it shows the center at the top and the quarterback. In other words, if you're looking at a clock, the center would be at 12 o'clock. The quarterback would be at 9 o'clock. The running back would be over at 6 o'clock, for example. The halfback actually would be adjacent to the quarterback at about, since quarterback's at 9, we'll say the halfback is at 8 in this case. The tight end would be over at 6 o'clock. The fullback would be directly across from the quarterback, so the quarterback can hear exactly what they're saying while he's looking at the quarterback as maybe a diagram is coming out. So there's actually a method to the madness of the huddle procedure. And even the playbook states, forming and breaking the huddle. Center always sets up the huddle 8 yards from the ball. Set up quick. The huddle is circular. Keep it that way so all can hear. Line up quickly with hands on knees in position to see and hear the quarterback. Folks, this is page 1 of the 49ers playbook. Quarterback has complete control of the huddle. You will receive the following information in the huddle: formation, play, blocking, pass pattern, and snap number. Again, this is all about learning the playbook. So when you do not hear what is said, call check. And then, ready, break is the signal to leave the huddle, clap the hands, linemen turn to outside, and go to their positions quickly. The huddle reflects the attitude of each man on the team. Keep the huddle sharp, says Bill Walsh. Quarterback, do not call ready break until the receivers have left the huddle. Now, in the huddle, quarterback does all the talking. Quarterback will give the following information: formation, for example, red, brown, green, blue, etc. Formation adjustments, for example, tight, close, Y deep, etc. Motions or shifts, for example, Z right, Z left, Y motion, etc. Play number, for example, 65, 20, 98, or if you're one of those Aaron Rodgers fans because you like to say something about 319 Hut, or Peyton Manning with his Omaha, this, that, and the other. All right, so the play terms, power, X hook, etc. All this is given by the quarterback in the huddle. Oh yeah, folks. Well, believe me, this thing goes on and on. Snap count. 1, 2, set, first, second, whatever. And here's how it sounds. Red, right, slot, 24, double square out, on set, ready, break. Or brown, left, slot Z, left, 64, on 1, ready, break. Or double wing, right, 78, X hook, on first, ready, break. Note, the ball may be snapped on any of the following snap counts. First sound, pro, set, 1, first hut, or 2, second hut, or 3, hut, hut, hut. So it could be any of that stuff. This is really cool stuff, folks. It's not like you really get a chance to hear this very often. Now, at the line of scrimmage, the quarterback places hands, of course, as we know, under the center. Of course, that's when he's under center, when he's ready to call for the defensive front. Now, during the audibles, mind you, this is back in the day before the shotgun was a big deal outside of Tom Landry's Texas, his boys from the Dallas Cowboys. I was going to say Texas boys, but it is what it is. During audibles, he stands behind the center with hands hanging free. Quarterback is sure that the center feels his hands before calling snap count. Now, the quarterback calls the defensive front if no live or dummy audible is called. For example, 43, 34, 53. Quarterback pause and complete snap count as follows. Set, pause, hut, hut, hut. Also, when the quarterback calls the snap count on 3, he will try to draw the defense offside on the second hut by accenting. So we go hut, hut, hut. So on that second hut, for example, maybe somebody will jump off sides. And of course, the team is alert for the staggered count every time the quarterback calls play on 3. And audibles may be called regardless of the snap count itself. So listen, folks, there is a lot going on here. If you don't realize what's going on in the grand scheme of things in these plays, you better guess again. All right, folks, lots more to come here on the Sports Circus. It's going to be back here with the great Jason Owens, country music star, in just a few moments. Check him out at jasonowensmusic.com. That's jasonowensmusic.com. Don't go anywhere.
Can you feel the slow burn as you press against my lips? Your sweetness overtakes me, I'm okay with giving in.
We're a lot different, I ain't looking for the same. Come a little closer, babe, I wanna play this game. You're my whiskey,
You're my wine, I wanna feel your body next to mine, tangled up in the bedsheets, mixing Chardonnay and country. Get me tipsy tonight, I'll drink you up until the sunrise. Wanna wake up with you by my side, mixing whiskey and wine.
the fire, and you're my favorite sin.
The way you taste tonight, you must be heaven sent. Red lip stain, still there from yesterday. You and me, we go together, there's just no other way.
You're my whiskey,
You're my wine, I wanna feel your body next to mine, tangled up in the bedsheets, mixing Chardonnay and country.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by the music of Jason Owens, and here to tell you all about Jason Owens' music is Jason Owens.
What's going on, everyone? I'm country music artist Jason Owens. It's good to be on the Sports Circus with you, Sal. And you can check my music out at www.jasonowensmusic.com or on wherever you stream music.
All right, that's good stuff. And also, Jason, we have somebody with us from your band. Why don't you tell everybody about him, and then we're going to let him tell everybody about himself, too.
Yeah, this is one of the greatest guys I know. He was the best man at my wedding. This is Danny back here. He plays drums for me. He's been with me for many years now, and he's my boy.
All right. And Danny, tell everybody about yourself, your background.
Yeah, so my name's Danny Groh. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm the drummer for Jason Owens. I also play some bass and guitar. I basically just grew up in music. I did a little stint in music school, and then I've just played and taught professionally since then. So just glad to be out here on the show with Sal and Jason.
All right, that's good stuff. So, we had a discussion yesterday. We were driving around and talking about how do you learn songs so quickly? I mean, this was a really interesting discussion, and it's hard to imagine that you can know 40, 50 songs, whatever the hell it is, or somebody could say, hey, can you play this? And then you're thinking, well, all right, I may know the lyrics, but maybe I don't know the drumming side of it. I don't know the guitar side. Jason, start by telling people what you do for your first plan of attack. Is, let's say somebody says, play this song. Now, you know the song. Like we were talking about this one about playing a country music song backwards, which, of course, that kind of sings to me because it's usually, I lost everything, whatever, right? But in this case, I guess you get everything back. Right, but how do you go about learning that new song so quickly if you want to play it on a set, wherever you're at?
So if we're learning it for a show, I usually just listen to it a few times, try to pick up what I can out of it. But we use this thing called the Nashville number system. If it's not like for my artist gig, and if I'm playing guitar for somebody else, or Danny is, or Danny does it a lot more than me because I have the artist thing going on or whatever. But use this thing called the Nashville number system, and since Danny uses it so much, I think it would be better for Danny to explain it because he is more versed in it than I am.
Yeah, so kind of a crash course in the Nashville number system. It's basically a standardized way of notating a song. So you'll sort of find the key center of the song, and then every note in that key is going to have a number that corresponds with. So the first note is the 1 chord, the second is a 2 chord, and so on. And that's a quick way to get the building blocks of the song down on paper, so that when you're going to a gig, you can show up and be able to play through the song and quickly also be able to change the key of a song. So if you're with a different singer who might sing it higher or lower, you can quickly still use the same numbers, but have it in the key so that they can sing it properly.
So if you're in the key of G, for instance, so G would be your 1, then G, A, B, C, D. So if it was a 1, 4, 5, it'd be like G is 1, C is 4, and D is 5. And then if you're in the key of A would be 1, D would be 4, and E would be 5.
Okay, so for those people that don't know music like you do, they don't know how to read music, how could you explain it in the most simple terms? Maybe somebody has a guitar at home And like me, I have guitars. I'm a terrible player, but I know how to read music. What about for those people that are listening? Maybe they're an athlete saying, you know what? I can't play anymore, so I want to go play an instrument or something. What does it mean to be, first of all, in the key of whatever? And what do you mean by this 1-4-5 thing? What does all that mean?
So the key is the tonal center of the song. It's like the home base.
So, for example, like if my first chord, maybe it's a G or something,
Yeah,
right?
so if you're in the key of G, your first
Right,
chord
your
would be
first
G.
chord would be G, and your last chord technically would be
Yes,
G, right?
yes.
Yes.
All right, for everybody that doesn't know. Okay, please proceed.
Yeah, so you would start there, and all you really need to know is if it's major, happy sounding, or if it's minor, sad sounding. So you would start on G, and then going through the G major scale, just up the scale. As long as you know that, then you'll be able to match those notes with the number.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Danny just hit it right on the head.
Okay.
Hit the nail right on the head.
Hit the nail on
so-
the head. Attaboy.
Hell yeah.
All right. So the good news is that now we have a basic explanation of what this is. So when you're learning these new songs so quickly, go back to that Nashville number system thing that you mentioned. When is there a library of songs that will say maybe these are in this particular pattern or this pattern or this pattern? How does that work for the average person? How can you explain that so they can get a better idea of what you're really talking about on how quickly you can learn something, because there's basically a roadmap on how to do it?
Yeah, so a lot of songs, even not just in country, but in different genres, will have the same chord progressions because you can't copyright chords. So, for example, if you've got a blues song like Johnny Be Good, that's like a 1-4-5. I could write my own song and use those exact same chords. Now I have to have a different melody and different things like that.
Yeah.
But once you learn, the standard progressions, you'll start realizing how many songs those are in. So then you're already showing up with half the battle done, because it's a 1-5-6-4, and all you have to figure out is what key, and then you just cycle through that same pattern.
Yeah, see, a lot of people don't talk about this stuff, and what I find interesting is maybe you'll have somebody that does vocals for, maybe they wrote their own real popular song, but then you ask them, hey, can you do this particular song? It's in the key of C or something like that, and they can't get there. As a vocalist, why can't they get there, in your opinion?
Are you saying because they can't sing that high or that low? It's
Right.
just not in their range.
Right, what is it with that?
Everyone just has different ranges. Like I'm kind of more like a baritone, so I can sing a little bit lower, like the Johnny Cash stuff, but I can also sing pretty high, but not like Journey high.
Journey high. Okay. Well, I mean, it's interesting because when you talk about chords and notes, a lot of people don't even know what that means. They just like to listen to music. And most people just simply listen to music. So for those people that don't know, what is the difference between a chord and a note? How do you explain that to the average Joe or Josephine out there?
Yeah, I'm sending it back to the music major.
So a chord, I believe the musical definition is, I think it's at least 3 notes played, usually
triad.
at the same time.
Yeah.
A triad, where a note is just literally one
Not
note.
necessarily, because sometimes there are 2. Sometimes there are 2. As I recall, when I was a kid, I think it was 2. Or you can put your finger on one string, for example, on the high E or something. You can have it on the first or second.
like a bar chord, kind of.
Well,
like a 5 chord.
Well, right, but really, technically, I guess you would play 3 strings, right? So there's the 3 you're talking about. Maybe an open D or something, or whatever the heck it is. Okay, so there it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, so 2 chords.
Never mind me, folks. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Go ahead.
Yeah, so 2 chords or 2 notes at one time is considered an interval.
Okay.
But it can sound very similar to a chord. So I think the official definition of a chord is more notes than that.
See, I have to be the foil. I have to be able to throw something in there to try to screw something up. So you purposely correct me. See, folks, that's kind of what I did here, but not. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so a note is just, one note on its own, but you need multiple notes together to make up a chord.
Right. That's what I was looking for. So for those people that don't know, I mean, look, there's a lot that goes into this. And when you're writing a song, some people actually will write note by note, word by word to try to match them. I have a family member that does that. But when you write a song, how do you do it?
So I usually just have an idea, and then I sit down and I'll try to come up with some type of lick or riff, or like that's like a guitar part, like an earworm kind of thing you'd hear at the top of a song or whatever. And then I will, sit down and with that idea, try to just expand on it and try to paint that picture as best as I can. And then if sometimes I'm having a little trouble with it, I'll reach out to somebody else, and we do these things called co-writes, where we write together on a song, just to try to make it the best that we can, because everyone has their strengths and weaknesses.
So from the drumming side of things, then because you're a drummer and also a bassist too, and you play guitar too, right? Yep. So you basically do it all. You're the one-man band, right? So Danny, as the one-man band, when you're trying to, let's just say Jason gives you this set of lyric, and you say, well, maybe I wanted to make it I don't want a ballad, I want something a little bit more upbeat. How do you determine on a metronome, for example, where do you set it at? How do you determine what rate that you want that metronome to go on? And that's the timer thing, folks. That's that click, click, click thing, right? So it keeps time. How do you determine the tempo of this song? Both of you. In our last 30 seconds, I'm gonna ask Danny first, and then when we come back from break, Jason, I want you to expand on it.
Well, I would, whatever Jason sends me, I would try to figure out as close as I can to what the tempo is that he already sent me, and just try the nearest number that'll match that, like 100 beats per minute or something. And then if we play that together, and we'll see how that feels. Sometimes it might feel, well, these lyrics are going to sound better if they're sung faster, or maybe we want a love song ballad, so we're going to slow it down and kind of have a different feel. It just depends on how it feels playing it together.
Yes, that's the part that I find interesting here in the last 20 seconds of the segment. What I find interesting is that when you're writing, what you may think would be something a little bit more upbeat could turn into a ballad, because it just flows better that way. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Yeah, that's the part. That's the part that I find interesting. Listen, folks, we're going to be back here in just a few minutes with the boys from Jason Owens Band, and that's actually Jason Owens, and we have Danny over here as well. Danny's his drummer, Danny Groh, right?
Yes.
All right, folks, we're going to be back in just a few. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on the Sports Circus. Back in a few again.
She's the cutest girl I've ever seen. When she's fighting mad, it's the funniest thing. Long hair, blue eyes, and a heart of gold. This is the one thing I want you to know. If you want a man that'll love you to the moon and back, never cheat, never lie, yeah, baby, none of that. But slow and steady wins the race. It's the thrill of the chase. Falling in love just ain't the same these days. We might start with a bottle of Jack. Maybe we won't need that. I gotta find a way to call her mine. I know sometimes you gotta take it slow and steady. She's like a locked up bank vault, and I'm trying to crack the code. She's a perfect 10. She's got nowhere else to go. Yeah, I'm trying to show her I'm the kind of man she wants. She's had some real losers and it's, but her defense is up. And I just wanna love
to the moon and back. I'll never cheat, never lie, yeah, baby, none of that. But slow and steady wins a race. It's the thrill of the chase. Gotta build the trust up these days. Might start with a bottle of Jack. Maybe we won't need that. I gotta find a way to call her mine. I know sometimes you gotta take it slow and steady. Yeah, she's coming around, I can see it in her eyes. Let me tell you, when the sun comes up, I ain't wasting no more time. I'm gonna pull right up in my truck. Maybe I'll be surprised. Slow and steady wins a race. She's walking right out. That smile she just gave me, I can see she's getting me.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. This is country music artist Jason Owens, and this segment is brought to you by me, actually. You can find us online at Jason Owens Music or at our website, www.jasonowensmusic.com. I'm going to hand it back to Ringmaster Sal right now.
All right, there's a big round of applause from everybody. Welcome back to everybody on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, including our friends over in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the New York Yankees, San Francisco 49ers, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Of course, welcoming to everybody else up and down the West Coast on Pick Your Favorite Affiliate and Independent, through the Heartland all the way down to Auburn, Alabama, WAUD, home of the Atlanta Braves. Big hello to our friends over in Atlanta as well, WDJY 99.1 FM, plus everybody else on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, and WOW Cable Television affiliates from coast to coast, Hotel TV in over 600,000 rooms from coast to coast, as well as everybody watching or listening on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Make sure you check that out, folks. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. It's a fun group. Have some fun with it. Post your favorite recipes, restaurants. I don't give a damn. It covers all corners of the earth for all you flat earthers out there. And also everybody on the Mars rover, thanks for joining us. All right. So, Jason, in the last segment, talking about writing a song with you and your drummer, Danny is with us. And Danny, by the way, not just a drummer, also plays bass, also plays guitar. I don't know if he cooks. Do you cook well, too?
I don't cook.
Oh, no.
He's a freak of nature. He just does all kinds of things.
All right, so he's one of those. This guy is multi-talented, a real big brain in the music world. I like that, and of course, that always deserves a big round of applause. Let's get back to this songwriting thing. I was mentioning in the last segment, how do you determine whether it's going to be a ballad? Maybe you're writing something more up-tempo. I like your up-tempo stuff as well, for sure. And, watching you play live, you guys, when you're playing live, man, people are happy. I'm not a country music guy, but I understand it. I get it. Versus being a rocker, rah, right? Everybody is just, they have this look and they're throwing up the horns and crazy stuff's going on. It's a different vibe altogether. It's just the room is just... It's a very happy place. It doesn't matter whether there's 10 people, 100 there, 1,000 there, whatever. It's just a happy room. And I think a lot of it sings to the idea of, first of all, your lyrics are clever. But second, you have a nice variation in tempo. And we were talking about songwriting in the last segment. Maybe you submit something to Danny. Danny, has the metronome going for the drum to keeping the time and the velocity of the song itself. But how do you determine, maybe we're going to go from something up tempo to a ballad or a reverse? How do you discover that? And then when you and Danny put this together, for example, how do you say, okay, we're going to live with this?
Yeah, Sal, it kind of just depends on the song and the content of the song. If it's a sad song, it's normally slower, although sometimes it is kind of fun to put an up-tempo kind of deal on a sad song, or vice versa. If it's a happy song, maybe it's slower, but it conveys a happier message. That's really just it. It's like when it's just whatever the song calls for. Actually, we were talking about metronomes. On our way over to the studio, we had a driver driving us, and this song came on the radio, and his turn signal was in time
really?
With the song.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I love when that happens.
Right?
It's just fun.
Click,
it's cool.
click, click,
so
click, click,
when you're
right?
driving around, listen to that and see it, like your click track, like, right? When you turn on your turn signal.
Hey, how was that? Okay.
I don't know. Was that right? Do you have a better one, Danny? Can you do it?
I don't think so.
They make all kinds of
all right. Stick to
noises.
singing.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll
stick to singing. You're not a turn signal.
Yeah, I'm not a turn signal. Yeah, when you're driving around, guys, like see if that matches your radio. I don't know if it's universal.
That's an interesting concept, though.
Yeah.
Because, I think of just my own stereotypical country music thing. I shot my dog, ran over my cat, got drunk, now I'm divorced. That kind of thing, right? And it's usually something a little bit slower, whatever, in my brain, mind you.
It's the tear in my beer stuff.
That stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even know the terminology for it.
Yeah.
But my point is that this is my preconceived notion, because for me, I think of the old classic country music stuff. Love the fiddle. You guys have a fiddle in your band, too.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. Got a real cute fiddle player. She's doing her thing. She's very showy on stage, and it's great. I think it's great for the audience. And you have another singer. You have yourself. You have a great drummer. And you got a bluesy bass player, too.
Yeah, man.
And this dude is as cool as the other side of the pillow, like Stuart Scott used to say. So he has this kind of a grin on his face, but he's one of those Louisiana guys.
Yeah, man.
Right? This boy could talk food, and this boy could talk sports.
He's grooving, man. Yeah.
He's a groovy guy.
Yeah.
Right? He's just one of those guys,
he's
right?
Cool.
Back to the songwriting, put a bow on this. Let's say you write something, being Jason, for all the audience that can't see us right now. So you're writing something, and you're saying, yeah, I've got this particular tempo in my mind. But Danny says, maybe it's better this way. Danny, how do you determine whether it's better this way or that way?
It's really going to be based on the feel of how it feels when we were playing it together. Certain songs will have more
of a tendency of wanting something a little more upbeat or something a little more slower, like just whatever the vibe is of the song, right?
Yeah. Now, certain songs we'll take and we'll purposely play them faster than the original.
Sure.
For example, The Devil Went Down to Georgia. We'll make that a barn burner.
Barn burner.
Yeah, most songs
super fast. Yeah. Train beat thing.
Most songs we're going to match the original tempo because that's what people are used to hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're doing a cover, we want it to be the way that the reason that people like the song is because of the original version. So we're going to match that in our cover shows.
Okay, let me ask you one more question about this songwriting thing, and then we're going to move on from there. Let's just say now you're doing the drum part of it, Danny, and where do you decide to put in a drum fill? What is a drum fill in the first place, for the audience that doesn't know?
So a drum fill is when the drummer is going to sort of break off from the regular beat and do something that usually on the toms that will set up the next section of the song, or show that you're basically making a transition, like from the verse to a chorus of a song.
So it's like as you're going into a bridge, right? You're going, and before you get to the chorus, you've got this bridge to get you over into the chorus, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people, like, maybe you'll hear this really cool guitar part and pick your favorite song, whatever. You're like, okay, it's different than what we've been hearing. And then suddenly here's like a change in this or a change in that. Maybe it picks up a little bit, whatever it is, and then it goes into a chorus, right? So that's that proverbial bridge. The drum fill part, what if you're in the middle of a verse? And let's say you're maybe either repeating or you have like the second part of a verse. Do you fill it up at that point? Is that so the audience knows, hey, maybe there's a whole new set of lyrics or something? How does that work?
Like our song Slow and Steady, it's kind of like down until that second verse. And Danny plays this really cool drum fill that brings us in to the second verse.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good transition for sure. And Danny plays some killer fills. You gotta come see him play sometime.
For all those people that don't know, by the way, we're here with Jason Owens, and you can check him out at jasonowensmusic.com. And how can people follow you again?
At Jason Owens Music on all the social medias, and you can find us on our streaming platforms, on Spotify, Apple Music, the whole deal. Just type in Jason Owens.
I see you're wearing a pretty cool hat today, and that's from Kelly Strong. Check him out, folks. This is a really cool hat. It's a cool purple hat, and you'll see him on stage wearing this hat. Check out Kelly Strong, the California sportswear company, at kelly-strong.com. That's kelly-strong.com. And they are one of the partners for the Sports Circus, longtime partners, longtime friends. No, we don't get anything for saying this. We're just saying it because they're cool people. That's it. And their flag store is right across from Seaport Village in downtown San Diego. They have 10 stores on the military exchanges throughout Southern California, and just a bunch of good people and a bunch of good, happy Americans that love America. Talk about the different types of venues you play, and what are your preferred types of venues to play?
My preferred is a big like outdoor stage, like a big party in a field or something, you know, or arena, whatever.
He says in a field.
Yeah.
Let's get the cows over there.
We're getting country, baby. Come on. So yeah, just the more the merrier. You know, it makes it more fun for us, and it's more smiles.
Outdoor venues are great, like
Yeah.
big barbecue kind of contest thing.
Yeah.
You know, in Chicagoland, in our last minute of the segment here, they have this thing called the Rib Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rib Fest is the second biggest barbecue in the world. The biggest one is in Memphis, called the Super Bowl of Swine. It's the first week of May. It's Memphis in May. Check them out at memphisinmay.org or com or whatever the hell it is. Anyway, like the biggest concert in the world is Summerfest in Milwaukee. There's 700 plus bands there, right? This Naperville Rib Fest is somewhere I'd like to see you play, and I've got a funny story I'll tell you offline about Sammy Hagar. It'll blow you away. Really funny. But my point is those big outdoor festivals where there are enormous amounts of people, and you don't realize how many people are there until you get there. Like, oh my God, right? Before you know it, there's 10, 20,000 people in front of you, and you didn't realize that, right? So in the last 20 seconds, tell everybody again how to follow you, because we're going to have to wrap this segment up.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find our music wherever you stream music, just at Jason Owens. And then our social media, or Instagram, Facebook, X, all that stuff is at Jason Owens Music. And our website is www.jasonowensmusic.com.
All right. And that is Jason Owens and Danny Groh, who plays a lot of instruments for these guys. Listen, folks, if you don't know them, you better ask somebody. You better go check them out, because these guys are legit. They're growing. They're getting bigger. They're getting bigger by the minute. All right, that's going to be it for this segment. We're going to be back here in just a few minutes on the circus. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere.
This party's dull without your smile. Why'd I let the guys drag me out for this? You're probably at home just watching TV, and I can't stop thinking about your lips. 'Cause your kisses are sweeter than this champagne. Your voice is better than the song that the DJ's playing. There's no party, no party, no party like you. And there's nobody, nobody that can light up this whole room. No Mardi Gras or Fiesta to compare it to. There's no party, no party, girl. There's no party like you. that can light up this whole room. No Mardi Gras or Fiesta to compare it to. There's no party, girl. There's no party like you. There's no party,
No party like you.
yeah, there's no party, no party like you. Yeah, there's no party like you. There's nobody that can light up this whole room. No Mardi Gras or Fiesta to compare it to. There's no party, girl. There's no party like you.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Folks, a big welcome back to everybody tuning in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. And, of course, that includes our friends over in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the 49ers, Yankees, and Alabama Crimson Tide, as we mentioned previously, as well as a big hello to our friends in Chicagoland down on Taylor Street. And listen, folks, if you've been over there, if you know anything about Taylor Street, that is Chicago's Little Italy. Lots of great food over there. And on the sportscircus.com, one of our favorites and one of our partners, longtime partners, is Al's Number One Italian Beef. Check them out at 1079 West Taylor Street, again, in Chicago's Little Italy. And if you can't get over there, just go over to alsbeef.com and you can read all about them. They've been in business since 1938, serving up some of the best food that I've ever had. And check out that Italian beef sandwich. If you don't know what that is, you better ask somebody. It is, in my opinion, leaps and bounds, and I mean not even close, leaps and bounds better than the Philly cheesesteak sandwich. Of course, that always gets a laugh over here on the circus. But the Italian beef sandwich is damn near as good as it gets. It's something you can get quickly. It's not fast food, but it can be served to you relatively quickly. And I have to tell you, it is spectacular. So if you think you know a good sandwich, you think that Philly cheesesteak sandwich is good, check out the Italian beef at alsnumber1italianbeef.com. And listen, it is really, really good stuff. And I could only put 800 exclamation points on it because I really dig it. One of our long partners here at the Sports Circus. And of course, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, recorded shows just like this one. In case you missed any part of it, you can go back to this date and you can listen to this show on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Deezer, YouTube even. I don't know. It's really there for everybody. In case you missed a part of it, this is a fun show with Jason Owens and Danny Groh. Some really good guys with some really good, wholesome music that's not about stuff that is bad for people, bad for their morale. It's good stuff. It's happy stuff. Good music. Folks, check them out again at jasonowensmusic.com. That's jasonowensmusic.com. sportscircus.com. Jason is one hell of a guy. Of course, Jason always gets the super applause here on the Sports Circus. Yes! You know, the funny thing that I enjoyed about the last segment, well, one of the funny things anyway, was they like to play, Jason said he likes to play in fields. Big open fields. Of course, the cows came into play, which they really don't. But you never know. I guess if you're out there in the sticks, hey, you could be playing next to a big ranch or whatnot, right? Maybe where Uppercut Chops, a shameless plug for them, gets their their Wagyu beef. Boy, great stuff, I tell you, folks. Anyway, my point is, if you go and watch a show out in a rural location where maybe it could be a big open field, like Jason was saying. Look, the acoustics are never really an issue when you're playing under these little pavilions or these little gazebos in a pavilion or something. The acoustics can be a real problem. We've talked about that in a previous show. But what I will say is that as we move forward in the grand scheme of things of going to see good shows and good venues with good people and maybe some good barbecue or whatnot, I have to say that those shows, personally, those are my favorites as well. I've been at the big concert halls, been to the Rose Bowl, saw a concert with 110,000 people there. 110,000. Madness. And imagine this, an enormous food fight broke out at the Rose Bowl. It was during a particular song that mentioned food. I won't mention which one it was, so in case you ever go to a concert and you hear this song or something, maybe they're playing it over the loudspeaker, don't start throwing food all over the place. No! But I will say that those are the fun concerts, and you bring your family. You remember those kind of concerts. And a lot of times when we go to these sporting events in between quarters in football games or in between innings at baseball games, you ever been to minor league baseball games? Minor league baseball games are a lot of fun. And they have some crazy things going out in between innings where you scratch your head like, well, wait a minute. You know, we've seen potato sack races and stuff like that. And people with their legs tied to one another, they have to win a race and this and that. The one thing that I haven't seen was a let me see if I can spit that one out again. A cow tipping contest. Now, we haven't seen one of those yet, but of course, we've got to be real quiet. Otherwise, the cows will wake up, right? So what I'm thinking here is we're not going to see one of those, but what we will see is a fun environment, maybe a carnival midway, which I absolutely love that stuff. So can you imagine the players on a baseball field? Maybe they're out in the bullpen and you're at a minor league game. Now, I've been to games, or better yet, I've played in games down in Mexico where the games have had this kind of environment in the background. No home run wall or anything like that. And as you look out way out of the distance, out in maybe right field, where there would be a wall, then you look maybe another couple of 100 feet past there or something or another. That's where there's maybe a carnival midway. Or the Zipper! I absolutely love the Zipper. One of the greatest rides ever known to man. And so you'd see this stuff going on out there, but you have barbecues and whatnot. And I remember going to a particular game or being a part of one way back in the day, in the Wayback Time Machine, when rabbit ears were on television, where you could actually go out, if you were out in the bullpen and you know you weren't really going to be pitching, you can go out and go grab some tacos or rotisserie chicken or some churros or something really good out there. And nobody's really going to miss you because no one's going to see you kind of mix and mingle with the crowd, if you know what I mean. Hey, those things do happen, folks. In case you're wondering, trust me, they do happen. And when we think about the idea of going to games in rural locations, just like music festivals or concerts, those are really a lot of fun. There's usually not a lot of security issues. People are there just to have a good time, maybe get some good food and listen to some good music. I like the concerts out there. A lot of times you'll be playing in a game or you'll go to a game at maybe an A-ball or AA or AAA game or whatever it is. And usually nearby, there's either a concert going on or there's one setting up or something to the effect. Because a lot of times they coordinate those concerts or those shows with the endings or beginnings of ball games. So if you are lucky enough to be in one of the smaller venues, and one of my favorite ones is over in Montgomery, Alabama, which is in our broadcast area for WAUD, home of the Atlanta Braves, on 12:30 a.m. over there out of Auburn, Alabama. That signal stretches from Columbus, Georgia, all the way to Montgomery. And going to the Montgomery Biscuits And in fact, I'm wearing a Montgomery Biscuits shirt right now. Of course, in case you can't see me, everybody on radio, I have to say that going to the Biscuits game is a highlight, in my opinion, one of the greatest games that I've gone to, or better yet, one of the greatest venues I've gone to. Let's say it that way. And so the music's right. And what do they serve out there in the seats? They serve biscuits. That's right, folks. They serve buttermilk biscuits because that's what the actual team mascot is. It's a buttermilk biscuit, if you can believe that one. And what's cool is you're not really, sure you can get the hot dogs and everything like that, but you're not really getting the typical food because, let's face it, you're in the hotbed of great food down in Alabama. And honestly, I'm not going to expect getting pizza is going to be great over there. But I am going to expect good barbecue, good biscuits, and maybe a good adult beverage as well, if you know what I mean. Right? Hey, you never know, folks. But it's a great family environment. Absolutely love the Biscuits at the Biscuits game. But the environment's fun. The stadium is actually quite large. And it's in a nice part of town, too, a nice setting. If you look at where it's set, it's away from all the chaos and mayhem of the center of the city. But at the same time, it's close enough to the center of the city, too. That's what you get for going to these little venues, so to say. But this really isn't that little. But you get to participate in something bigger than you, of course, being the game. But you get to be an integral part of what's going on with the fans, and the fan experience is spectacular. And what's I think even cooler than that is directly across the street from the stadium as you head out the home plate is there's all kinds of cool mom and pop stores and whatnot. You don't see big corporate America over there. No, you see handmade goods, and I like that stuff. Of course, baked goods are obviously my favorite. Right? For everybody that knows me, you know that baked goods are my favorite. But ultimately, you get to be a part of something bigger. And when we think of Jason Owens' music, I think of that as an integral part of what's going on with the fiber of America and American-made music, American-made goods, and people that are just happy to say, hey, I'm an American. That's right, folks. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. I'll see you next time right here in 23 hours on The Circus.
Be heaven sent.